Hi, I'm Paula.
I'm Kristen, and welcome to Brewed and Boozed. We are here with Joanne.
Hi, I'm Joanne Close.
We are here at the Independent Caveau NOLA?
Yes, rather long name, but
Okay.
it all makes sense. The Independent Caveau NOLA. Caveau is a name for a wine storage area, a wine place in France, and NOLA obviously is New Orleans, Louisiana.
Sweet.
We are wine and cheese and Caveau Manger, which is you have little bites before you go out for dinner. So your cheese plate, cheese and charcuterie. That's what we do.
Awesome.
That's great. And you also teach class.
We do. Actually, we are a full-on retail store that sells the cheese and charcuterie. We are a bar. And then I also teach the wine classes here. I teach the wine and spirits education courses, as well as just one-off interesting subjects like Gamay all day, because it's Beaujolais Nouveau time.
Yay, and we are actually celebrating today is Beaujolais Nouveau Day.
Yes,
So
happy Beaujolais Nouveau Day, ladies.
yes,
To you.
thank
you.
you.
Same to
Thank
you.
you so
Here's
much.
your-
Oh, perfect.
There you go.
Yes,
It's time.
it's time. Perfect.
All right.
And
Cheers.
Cheers.
So they'll be having fireworks in Lyon for Beaujolais Nouveau. I don't have any fireworks,
Oh, okay.
but we do have the Beaujolais Nouveau in. It has arrived.
That's awesome. So what is Beaujolais Nouveau?
All right, so I'll try to give you the short,
Okay.
painless version. So the grape is Gamay. It is 100% Gamay. It is from Beaujolais, which is a wine region in France, just south of Burgundy. It is made in a specific style that it's a quick release onto the market. So about 8 weeks ago, these were grapes,
Oh, wow.
which is fast for wine.
Yeah.
Normally it spends some time in the tank, maybe it spends some years in the barrel, but not Beaujolais Nouveau. It is a quick release wine. It's been done this way for hundreds of years, and it's not just Beaujolais that makes a wine like this. It is a celebration of the harvest. Wine for the workers, they work really hard, it's not easy work. They get the wine, right, after about 6 to 8 weeks, which is super fast. It's made in a wine fermenting style called carbonic maceration.
Okay.
So normally you bring in the grapes, you crush the grapes, these are for red wine. So you crush the grapes to release the juice. The juice then has contact with the skins, it gets its color, it gets its tannin, and then you undergo regular fermentation. For this, it all is hand harvested, by the way, so no machines.
Oh, wow.
They have to go through, do the manual harvest with the whole clusters, and then they put it in a tank, fill it full of CO2, and close the lid, so there's no air in there. And what happens is the berries start to ferment inside the berry. It's called intercellular fermentation.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, it's kind of crazy.
That's really cool.
And then the grapes on the bottom, they get a little crushed, so they start to ferment normally. But what it does, it's a rapid extraction of flavor without the tannins, right? Because you have Beaujolais Nouveau, it's a porch pepper, right? You can drink it on its own. You don't have to have food with it. It's just fresh juice.
So it's less tannic or has no tannins?
It has
or?
low tannins. Low tannins, but definitely way less tannic than other red wines. And it's to do with the grape, because Gamay is a thin-skinned grape, but it's all to do with the winemaking process as well.
Are there other wines that are made in that style?
Carbonic maceration is yes,
It's a thing.
absolutely. It's a thing. It is definitely a thing. It just generally. I had a Nebbiolo last night, which is a very thick-skinned grape, and it was made by carbonic maceration. So it did not at all taste like a Barolo, what you expect those big, thick, heavy tannin wines to be like.
And I've seen regular Beaujolais, like in a wine store before.
Right. So you get me on my soapbox
Oh.
about this. So Beaujolais Nouveau, super popular within France. In Lyon, they got very excited when it's time to release it the third Thursday of November. Right?
They have big
Today.
parties.
Big
they
parties, fireworks, and all these sort of things.
They hold it back, like
They do.
They do not release it until
No,
that
and they
moment.
try to do that with the U.S. market, but you can imagine that's a bit of a nightmare because you have to ship the wine all the way over here, and the timing of it. So now they ship it over here ahead of time, but they say, please, can you wait? But they don't usually do that.
We
It's not always the case.
got a bottle a couple of days.
Yeah.
We got this case in last week. So, but I understand you need to have it on the shelf ready to go.
But it's kind of fun to have
It is fun. It's look, these
an
are,
event.
you drink them. They're youthful. They're fresh. They're not meant to be aged. They're fun. They have red flavors of raspberries, cherries, strawberries. Because of the carbonic maceration, they also have flavors of banana and bubblegum and what they call in England a pear drop, which is sort of like a candied flavor. And that's because of the intracellular fermentation.
I taste the banana.
I can
Now
definitely
that
see the
you-
banana.
now that
Yeah.
you
When I tell you
mention
that banana's in there, and people are like, yes,
Yes,
it's
it
there.
is.
But
Yeah, I don't think I ever noticed that, but yeah, once you can totally
get
taste
it?
it now. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I wasn't
so
sure
you're
what
not
that
crazy. Banana's in there.
tastes.
Yeah, it gained in popularity, and then George DeBuff took it to the extreme. He's a good marketing guy. Does all the different label every year, really kind of fancy
Yeah.
label. And in the 70s, New York started to get it, and U.S. really got a hold of it. And it climbed and climbed, the numbers climbed, but then it hit a peak. In about the early 2000s, people it was a bit much. They'd had a little, too much. And then the sales have been declining since then in the States. But I would like to say, you get your big production Beaujolais Nouveau, like from DeBuff, but then you can get smaller production. So we have a small guy here, make a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just a bit more interesting.
Absolutely.
So we don't want one big producer to ruin it for the rest of, the style and everything. I think there's nothing wrong with Beaujolais Nouveau. I think it's really fun. But I do want to say that there's lots of other styles of wine made in Beaujolais that are quite a bit more serious, specifically from the 10 crus in Beaujolais. So I would highly recommend people go out and try some of those. Maybe set up your own tasting, right? You have your Beaujolais Nouveau, maybe a Beaujolais Village, and then a cru, and kind of taste the differences between them.
Yeah, that does sound really cool.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Now, Gamay grapes, they are used in other wines.
They
I
are.
mean,
So Gamay it's quite interesting in that the majority of Gamay in the world comes from Beaujolais. Then there's some in the Loire Valley, but not a whole lot elsewhere. It's interesting. In California, they've started to plant it. In Oregon, they've started to plant it. So I think that is the region to really watch stateside for more Gamay plantings. I mean, I do foresee that over the next 5-10 years, we'll see a lot more domestic Gamay hitting the market.
does it require cold temperatures to grow?
does.
Does it prefer colder temperatures?
It does, cool to moderate. It certainly doesn't like a really warm temperature. It's a thin-skinned grape that naturally has high acidity, so makes really lovely fresh red wines, really food-friendly. I would recommend, certainly with Nouveau, to chill it just a little bit. It's definitely in the chillable red category.
Right.
So if you stick it in the ice bucket for 5 minutes beforehand to enjoy it better.
We have paired it with our Thanksgiving dinner, and it went fine.
Yeah.
We also are of the notion, and we've discussed this before, drink what you like.
Yes.
So, but we found it palatable to drink Beaujolais Nouveau with our turkey. Is there any other foods? I mean, does it go pretty much with a lot of foods?
It's going to be very food friendly with lots of different things. And it's a lighter wine, so if you're having sort of bigger style food with stronger flavors, maybe you would match it with something else. But I think the fun part about this is that you could drink it all day during Thanksgiving, right? When you show up, you can have a glass, and then with your nibbles beforehand or with the turkey, it's gonna serve you well throughout the whole day.
It does seem pretty easygoing.
Yeah.
It's a very easy red.
It's nothing super complicated here that's gonna fight with a lot of other flavors.
So now, besides DeBuff, there are, you said, smaller producers of it, and do they import to the U.S. so we could, if we wanted to compare different Beaujolais Nouveaux, I
Sure,
assume they would
yeah.
taste different
Yeah.
from different
And my
vineyards.
advice to that would be go to your trusted retailer and ask them, right? Say, I'm looking for a Beaujolais Nouveau. Do you have something from a smaller producer, something more interesting, maybe more nuanced? And they probably will say yes. I mean, we bought in some. We just got in 3 cases because you don't want to be left with Beaujolais Nouveau on your shelf after a certain time. It's really in and out, right? In and out for the season. You see some grocery stores, they build like a monument to Beaujolais. It's like
I've
this
seen
tower
it.
when you walk in, and like fear strikes my heart. I'm like, are they going to sell all that?
Is it
That's a lot.
is it still drinkable after a certain time, or is it?
Yeah, it's 6 to 9 months tops.
Okay.
Really, it should be gone within the year.
Oh,
Drink
okay.
it up.
Okay.
There's
So
no
if
reason to hang
I
on to
have
it.
some from last year, I should probably have already drank.
Yeah, probably.
It's not really a problem at our house.
No,
But
Or you could, if you really want to, have a moment, you could crack it open and crack open the new one and really see why you should have probably drank it a year ago.
so it
right?
doesn't age, is
No,
what we're.
no, it's
we're
not meant to age. And you know what? 99% of wines that are made are not made to age.
Really?
It's really just a small category that we kind of focus on. It's like port. Only 1% of all port is vintage port.
Oh,
But
wow.
when we think of port, we think of vintage port, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of port, a lot of wine, it's meant to be enjoyed within the year, really.
Oh. Fun fact for the day.
Yeah, well, I was part of a wine club, and I got my 3 bottles of wine quarterly, and I was very excited, and there was a bottle, this was 10 years ago, and it said, do not age until 2023. And I said, well, that is terrible. I was all excited for this box of wine, and
Yeah.
now
They want you to hang on to it for 10 years?
that's what I
That's
said.
yeah.
But I did.
Wow.
So we'll
That's
see.
So we'll
impressive.
see.
We'll crack it
We're-
open
We're
and
going to
we'll
have
see.
a party for that.
Yeah.
But,
Right? That's
but
impressive. Yeah, the wine
I
doesn't
thought they
stick
were.
around in our
I
house
thought they
very
were
long.
crazy. Yeah. But it is. We have drank wines that we have. And in fact, we had one the other day where you wished you'd have bought 2 bottles because it would have been interesting to see
Yeah.
a little bit longer. Not this one, obviously.
In an ideal world, we'd all have our home wine cellar,
Yes.
right? And we could buy a case of everything that we bought, so we could drink one and then open one up a year later. That's my ideal world.
Oh yeah.
Wine.
If we all
I
had
have
a
a little wine rack in the kitchen, and then usually it's empty, and that's the reality of
Yeah.
wine.
If we all had like a wine cave and a cheese cave, it'd be a beautiful world.
It'd be a good world.
It would be. It
So
Yeah.
speaking of cheese, what cheese would you pair with this?
Again, really versatile. We have some nice. We just got in a cheese from the Alps called Letevaz. It's a cow's milk, and it's semi hard cheese. Lovely, like creamy, nutty, almost a fruity quality.
Oh.
So that lovely fruity quality of the cheese, I think, would match really well with the freshness, the fruitiness of a Beaujolais Nouveau.
Yeah.
So probably not a super strong flavor.
I
Would
wouldn't,
probably not.
yeah, because
like
it's
a
just
real
gonna,
strong blue or
it's
something.
just gonna
Probably
be a
wouldn't.
little definitely not a blue. It's gonna be too overwhelming for this wine.
All right.
Well, thank you so much. We learned a lot today about Beaujolais Nouveau.
great.
And so
We will
Wonderful.
have a link to her shop and all of the information that we have today.
Yeah.
And we will also run this on our podcast tomorrow. So check that out on everywhere you listen to a podcast.
Yes, definitely.
And thank you so much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
my pleasure.
Thank
Cheers,
you so
ladies.
much.
Cheers.
Cheers.